Hey guys, I'm here with Emily, and she's a personal finance coach. And today we're just going to talk about like financial literacy and how important it is for compound interest and just starting right now, starting today. Because it can have a big impact on your financial future. So I'm gonna start off with how can someone start managing their money effectively, even with like limited income?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I, as a personal finance coach, I work with a lot of people on getting a handle on their finances. And one of the things that I see that happens the most is that people they spend money thoughtlessly and then they react to it after the fact.
Yeah,
So they're not sitting there thinking about each time that they're spending money in each interaction they're having, and then they're frustrated at the end of the month. And so, if you actually think in the very initial phases of doing that spending of your money, you can actually end up with a lot more left over at the end of the month, and then you can use that money to actually work for you versus buying material things that depreciate immediately, and then also you end up throwing away or it goes into a landfill, so you don't even actually truly enjoy it. Whereas if you are saving that money actually works for you later and can actually completely transform your life by just reallocating how you're using it.
yeah. So I think like money managing, like you could have like 10% like for your wants or whatever you want to just like fuck off money basically. This amount for investing, this amount for savings. So then, like I tell you guys, like a high yield savings is important. So you could put your money in a high yield savings, and then that'll also compound as well. So
Yeah, high yield's awesome. There's the a lot of people still have like a checking account, like a Wells Fargo, Chase, or whatever, and then they have a savings account that is connected to that. And those are those 0.1% interest bearing. So you'll see like 3 cents interest. Those are a carryover from a completely different time, and they're still there because the banks keep that money. Whereas a high yield savings account, there's you make sure you find one that have no minimum requirements, so you can have 300 bucks in it. They have no fees, and then those will actually pay you between 3 and 4% depending on what the market's doing, and that fluctuates. But that's actually just meeting inflation. So if you are keeping your money in just like your no interest bearing savings account, that's really just a different cash account. But when you put it in a high yield, you're meeting the generally the inflation rate. And so when you don't do that, you're actually losing your money. And they are FDIC insured. They're anybody can get them. There's not like a whole credit process. You can just go ahead and do it. It's really easy, and it's to me insane. It's totally insane that anybody would have something as a savings account. It's basically a checking account. Like, don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah, you're just losing money over time doing
You are
that. Really.
literally losing money. You're throwing money away. If
Yeah.
you put in 20 bucks, now it's worth 19. That's crazy.
Mhm.
So at a bare minimum, high yield is a necessity.
Yeah. And just not spending your money on liabilities and put it more into assets. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
what are like some simple, easy, and beneficial stocks or index funds that anybody can invest in today?
Yeah, so Warren Buffett, the Oracle, he says that every investor should start at the S&P 500, and that's actually what my we did for our family is we invested in that early. I don't know, maybe 5 6 years ago, and had crazy returns on that. And if you don't know what the S&P 500 is, you can Google it. But it's essentially it's the top 500 performing companies in the United States stock market. And what's cool about it is, as one company does poorly, they fall out, and then the company that is underneath them then comes up. So it's constantly changing. Right now, it's tech heavy, but over the years, you've got some legacy companies in there like GE and some of those big guys that the generally it also always has an increase in value. And the cool thing with the S&P also is that you're not gambling by just picking stocks. It's doing it for you, and there's all sorts of different index funds that can do that, and you can see some really cool stuff. It actually just hit another record again. I think when I talked to your class, it had hit a record. It just
Yeah,
did it
yeah,
again, and that
yeah,
was like a month ago.
yeah,
So it's constantly on the upslope. There will be dips, but that's why you invest early so you
yeah,
can ride the market out over time. but their return rate on those right now is something insane, like 15%, which is unheard of. You look at that average, which is usually around that 7% number.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because then it creates that passive income. And if you think about, investing $100,000 and, or, if that's too much, you also don't need, there's not a minimum. You don't have to invest $100,000. You can invest $500. I literally just got my kids invested, and they're 4 and 6, and we just put $500 in the S&P for them, and already it made $13. So, and that was the difference
already.
of just sitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do dollar cost averaging, where we put in a certain amount over repeatedly, regardless of what the market's doing, because now you're not playing the market, you're just investing with the confidence of the market, and just building that over time, so that my daughter Ella, who's 4, already has $1,000 in the market. I mean, I didn't have that kind of money in the market when I was 4 years old.
And I think, like, even just starting today with whatever you can invest, like starting today, it'll help you out in the future, or just investing $100, even like $50, $20, whatever you have.
$20. That's all you gotta do.
Exactly. And at first, it's gonna be a slow start. You're gonna be like, is it like I'm not seeing any type of change or anything, but just staying consistent with it, you're gonna see your money compound over. Like, you'll see, like, it might fluctuate, it might come down a little bit, but that's when you really want to buy more, because it's on sale, it's a cheap.
Exactly.
And then when it's gonna come back up, like S&P 500, and that's like, we use this type of stuff every day, like Apple, like it's like the top 500 companies, right? So it could be like Google, Apple,
Meta,
Meta, everything that we use every day. It's like you're investing into that. It might fluctuate, but that's when you buy more, and then it's gonna come back up, and you're gonna have returns on your money. So
yeah, and it does it for you. You
Yeah.
just make sure you reinvest the dividends. Make sure when you do the investment initially that you don't let it sit in the cash account. So you have to put the money in. So, for example, like we use Schwab, there's all sorts of different vehicles you can use. You can do, Fidelity, all those guys, and you just make sure there's no fees with it. But you first put it in, it goes into the cash account, the liquid account, and then you move it and you buy whatever that stock is that you're purchasing, whatever investment fund. So again, the Oracle says to use is the S&P 500. And also a fun fact about that is he bet somebody, the top hedge fund years ago. I don't know if you heard this, but years ago he said he bet them $1 million that if he invested in the S&P 500 over 3 years, he would beat their investments where they were picking stocks. And for the first year, that hedge fund did better than him. The second year, he started to get close, and the third year, he had significantly outperformed them just by doing the S&P 500.
That's crazy.
That's why he stands behind it. And they had to pay him $1 million for that bet.
And it's a safe bet, it's a safer bet than individual stocks, like blue chip stocks or crypto or anything like that. So it's powerful, just S&P 500,
It's easy.
Yeah, simple. Keep it simple.
Start with $20. That's all you got to do. It doesn't take much, and then just keep adding to it over time, and you will start getting the hang of it and understanding it. And then what's cool about investing is once you see it take off, you get really excited and into it, and then every single dollar that you spend, you think, oh, I should have invested that. What would that be doing? Right?
No, that's true.
It starts to hurt to spend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to really
think I want to invest more.
Yeah.
You want to.
You want to.
It's crazy.
And it's free money.
Yeah, it is. It's like you could chill at home and just be making money, like while you sleep, if you have like enough invested into there, So it's like just making money, passive income.
And a crazy thing happens once you cross $100,000. The curve just takes off, where you're kind of sitting trucking along, and then over time. And what's cool is, we invested, I think, like $40,000 at first, and we because of this was also back when the S&P was only at like 4,600. But it started to take off because we were putting a little bit in, but it's still climbing on its own. So it's making those dividends, reinvesting the dividends. You don't ever take that out. And before we knew it, we hit 100, and then it just went. And we didn't put any more money in, but it kept going, and we got another 50 grand just by parking it somewhere else.
Yeah. See, it's powerful. What mistakes have you made that most people make and can like be a setback for like financial freedom?
Well, not starting early, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the younger you are, the more compound interest is on your side. But just doing the typical things where thoughtlessly in my 20s, I spend a lot of time in going to bars, going to restaurants, you know, excuse me, living the good life. And I look back on those bar tabs and I think, my God, if I would have put that money in, running credit card debt, that is a ridiculous thing to do. Why would you ever? The interest rate on that's like 25%. So if you think about if you are not able to pay your credit card off every month, if you think every purchase you make, so excuse me, I'm still waking up. So like this cup of coffee was $3. Now, if I were to not pay my credit card off, that would still be 25% more. So, would I be willing to pay, $3.50, $4 for a cup of coffee? And so every time that you buy something, are you willing to pay that 25% markup? And most of the time, you're going to say absolutely not. But what you're doing by running credit card debt is you're doing that, and then you're doing it over and over and over again.
Just keep getting in a cycle, and it's just building debt. It's building debt,
Mm-hmm.
You can't spend money that you don't have. That's horrible.
We all learned it as little kids in kindergarten. 1 + 1 is 2. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, don't spend it. And if
Yeah.
you have it, do you want to spend it? And that's not saying don't do anything. I mean, I just went to Alabama Shakes at Red Rocks this week, and we paid good money for good tickets. But instead of going to tons of concerts, we picked the one. We put more money into that ticket, and we had a better experience for it.
Yeah. It's just really just balancing out, just being strategic or
Thoughtful.
yeah, thoughtful,
Yeah. Yeah, buy the things you want, but know you want them.
Yeah.
And then don't buy the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have a full life. Like I said to your class, one of the girls, I think she said she wanted to travel, and I said, well, I've been to all sorts of countries in Europe. I've been to the Caribbean. I went on safari in Africa. I did all that in my 20s, and then 30s. But then I had kids, so that kind of stopped. But you can still have a full life. You just do it thoughtfully.
Yeah.
And you save up for it, as opposed to putting it on credit and then paying for it later. And now I'm paying another 25% for it. That's insane.
Yeah. What financial habits should everyone develop to build for long-term growth?
I would say the first one that's the most important is your mindset and your understanding your relationship with money. We all come from very different backgrounds and have different education on it. A lot of people have zero education on it. And so I think the first thing that is the most valuable is just understanding that and understanding that you maybe have a negative one, or you have complete misunderstanding of it, or you're not even aware of the things you're doing. Because once you understand how you're interacting in your relationship with it, then you can start taking the steps to change that so that it benefits you. And it goes everywhere. And you can, it spreads so fast.
I agree. It's a mindset thing. That was actually really my next question. Like, what financial mindset shifts help you make decisions with money over time? So.
Yeah. I think it was when I started looking at the way I was spending my money versus what it would do for me investing. And the hard part was, we put our money into a high yield savings account just to have it in a safe place. And it's a really scary leap to go from FDIC insured to the market. And forever I was taught, or, life made me think that the market was this big, scary thing that, people had their entire retirements wiped out. And, there was, you're too young for this, but there was the Enron scandal. There was all sorts of things that were happening that you would hear these horror stories. And so I was really afraid of it. But then once we got into it and just stepped past that fear and trusted it, but then, we still had money on the side that we always keep money in the high yield so that it's liquid, and if there's like an event that we can cover it. But once we started doing that, then it became, oh my gosh, like you were saying, I want to put more in. Why don't we have more money? Like at the end of the month, where did that money go? We want to get it in there because I see what it's doing.
Yeah.
So when you start having that relationship change, you really get excited about it, and then it just gets easier and easier and easier.
Yeah. And that's one thing. I think a lot of people have fear, but I think being more resilient and facing your fears, like like I used to be scared to like go up to people like, hey, do you think I could interview you or talk on camera? Like I feel like I'm more comfortable with it now. Like now I can just speak more fluently. I don't have to like keep saying or cutting things out, you know. And I can just approach people like, hey, I like I like the conversation that we had. Like, you think we could set up an interview, or can I get your contact or something like that? You know, just facing your fears and just going after it. If you really want it, you're gonna go after it. You know, so yeah. So don't be afraid. You know, just do your own research as well. You know, and yeah, go face your fears. You know,
And you know
and
that the
what you
first
want.
step is always the hardest in everything,
Yeah.
right? You know, asking somebody out, well, you guys don't do this anymore, but back in the day, asking somebody out on a date, like it's just getting that first step, you know, that was terrifying, but as you do it, it gets easier. So, you know, even for you for this interview, like you were very confident and I was totally comfortable and at ease, but you would practice that if you would come in not having that confidence, it would be a little bit more hesitation. And so the same
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
But once you keep doing it, it becomes it's natural. It's more natural. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you can even go back to stuff like being a kid, right? When you're crawling, you don't know how to walk yet, and then how many times you fall, and then before long you're running, and then you're running track, and then you know,
Yeah.
it's just the more you do things, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing is that first step,
Yeah.
and everything is downhill after that.
What is like your next biggest goal, and how are you gonna make sure that that goal like gets achieved?
I want to retire my husband. I want him to not have to work anymore. Yeah, yeah. He works at the airport and he works hard, and he's been doing it forever. And so I would love to see him be able to be done and start. He wants to write novels, and so get him to start finishing books and then realizing that dream. That for me would be the ultimate flex, right? I mean, that's what the money's for, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
and
freedom.
yeah, it's all about financial freedom.
Yeah.
I'm stepping away from what I've been doing for 15 years, and I'm super excited about it and absolutely scared out of my damn mind. But
Really?
yeah, you're taking that leap and you're doing the thing, and so that's exciting. But then to be able to say to him, like, we have enough money that I mean, we can technically now, but you want more of a safety blanket, and
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah.
I have two houses, so it's like anything can go wrong. A furnace can break, or you know, water heaters and all that. But so having that ultimate flex of saying, like, babe, you don't have to work anymore. What do you want to do today?
That's funny. But so for my final and last question, like if you could teach one financial lesson everyone should know, what would that be?
One financial lesson. There's so many financial lessons. I would say that just start.
Just start.
Just start. Everybody has so many concerns and so many fears, and those will always be there. The only guarantee in life is if you do nothing, you will stay in the same place.
Yeah.
And so you need to start doing things to change your situation. If you're frustrated, if you're living really tight, you need to start making steps forward. And the thing is we will always find ways to waste our money and spend our money.
And make excuses too.
Exactly. Yep. And so when you prioritize yourself, you get there. You start changing all of that experience, and then, as we were talking a little earlier about you can live off the dividends. It's all about what you can start doing when you can start doing it now, and that the longer you wait, the harder you're going to make it on yourself. If you invest early, you have compound interest. It's going to do incredible things. If you wait, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder and harder. It takes so much more to get to your goal than if you start right away. And all you have to do is start. It's so simple. $20. That's what I was telling your class. You know, just put something in, and once you start, then you'll keep going.
Exactly. So I was gonna say something that was correlating to that, but kind of point. But
Oh, I'm sorry. I talked too long.
No, you're good. Cause it's good. It's like it's good. It's informative information, you know. So it's like I think everybody should really be trying to like hear this, you know.
You know that it's absolute travesty that they don't teach any sort of financial literacy ever. I can't understand. You know, I learned all about, you know, who who discovered America and all the things that happened, but they won't tell me you need to start investing today, and
Yeah.
you can if you have a family, you can get custodial accounts for your kids. It is not something that wealthy people have access to. It's something that all people have access to, and especially today with all of the way you can do it online. It goes very quickly. You can do it over your lunch break, whatever. It's incredibly simple. It just feels complex, and it's really unfortunate that people don't understand personal finance. But if nobody's taught it to you, or you haven't learned it the hard way, which a lot of people do, unfortunately, then you never get to that point, and you just keep expecting it to kind of fall into place, and it doesn't.
Yeah. Like, um, really, like if you really don't have no money at all, you can pick up a side hustle. Like, what is something that you're good at? 'Cause you can always like find something, some type of way of trying to get money, or cut down your living expenses. You might just have to be a little uncomfortable for a little while just to save up enough money to, I don't know, to make a change. But it starts with you though. It starts with ourselves, and our mindset, and believing like, okay, yes, I can accomplish this goal. Like, you can do it. It's possible. You just gotta figure out ways of uh, making it happen. So just making a change.
Yeah, they talk a lot about lifestyle creep, and as you make more money, you spend more
spend
money, and that's a very real thing. But what people forget, and I'm not talking about the single mom that is raising a bunch of kids, working two jobs. Like, I'm not talking about that person, but the average single person your age working. It's we've inflated our spending so significantly on housing and car. Now, granted, we're in this really fun housing situation, but you can also curb that when you're young and get roommates. When you don't want to have roommates, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to have all of this money and be able to retire when you're 30? So you want to suck it up for a few years?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, just might just have to be a little uncomfortable for a little while to get to where you want to be in the future.
Yeah, and it makes all the difference, and get rid of some of those luxuries that you don't even appreciate. I mean, you heard me go on a huge rant about cars and how I get so angry about vehicles. I mean, they're just four wheels. That's all they do. Who cares? Most people don't even see you driving the car. What difference does that make? It's not necessary. If you save that 20 grand and invest it, your life will be very different, and that car's going to break down
Just
before you get. Yeah, it depreciates off the lot. And if you invest that, that will keep paying for itself. So would you rather, drive a Tesla, or would you rather be done working when you're 30? I mean, that's an easy trade-off for me. Make the choices. I mean, everything is a choice.
Yeah.
And I hammer that to my kids, and you're making a choice, and you're choosing this behavior, this situation. It's the same thing as adults, is we're making a conscious decision that we're valuing this commodity over ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about when you reach financial independence, and financial independence being that you can do what you want. We kind of talked a little about like fuck you money. You do whatever it is that you want to do, and you don't have to show up for that boss that sucks and mistreats you, at a job that you don't care about. When you have that freedom, it gets so much easier, and then the world opens up, and you're more relaxed, and you live a better life. And that all comes from how you build that foundation for yourself early.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
And then eventually have financial freedom. And there's multiple things people can invest in, like commodities. Like you said, commodities. You could do commodities, REITs investments, index funds, ETFs, individual stocks. There's so many things that you can just even invest into yourself with the foods that you eat. You can eat healthier instead of buying like junk food and spending your money on McDonald's every day or Burger King or something, and that's just taking out money out of your account. So you could go to the grocery store, get more fruits and protein.
Oh my gosh,
snacks
yeah,
or something like that, So
buy the reduced produce that you go find it. It's perfectly fine.
More energy. You'll be able to do backflips when you're 60. So.
Yeah, it's a crazy ratio of like if you eat grains and beans, the cost per calorie versus like you were saying, like a McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
That McDonald's meal is going to have an incredible amount of calories, and then you're going to feel like shit after.
You get tired. You feel like lazy, like, oh, I just want to sleep now. Compared to I don't know, an apple or something just more healthier, like a salad or something like that. You'll still have energy.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like so lazy. You got energy to go work out or something, you know. So
Yeah, and then when you have those bad habits and eating those things that are super unhealthy,
yeah,
you're gonna pay for that later.
exactly.
And you're gonna pay for that with health problems. You're gonna pay for that. I mean, that's years down the line, but still, that's the same concept. Is like invest in yourself now,
Yeah,
and then you will be able to present yourself better, feel better, have more energy to do all the things you want to be doing versus laying in bed watching, all your Netflix and being miserable scrolling Instagram, right?
well, I know you say you have somewhere to be,
Yes.
in a little bit,
Yep.
so I don't want to take too much of your time, but I think this was like a good conversation, that
Yeah.
we could put out there, So I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you
you.
for
And my
coming
little
through.
plug, my business is Mile High Money Mama, MOMMA. You can find me on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel,
Yeah, go check her out.
website.
You
Yeah.
can learn some more financial literacy with her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Thank you.
All right.